try not to laugh throughout the whole of this. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simplay Motorsport. My name is Dan Davis, and we are live for the final round of the ACC Championship here at Monza in Italy. For the last round of the season, and for 2 seasons in a row now, we have finished at Monza for the final race of the season. But your champion here at Simplay Motorsport for the ACC has already been done and dusted, and it has gone to this man. Matt Ehimovic is your champion for the ACC League, but still pride is on the tables for most of the guys here, as they will want to get the last few wins under their belts. Currently, Matt and Imogai have 2 wins apiece, while Gavlar only has 1 win. So can Imogai and Matt possibly get 1 more win, or will it go the way of Gavlar and be 2 apiece? Either way, it's going to be an exciting night's worth of racing as Imogai gets herself into the session. We've got 25 minutes left of this session for these guys to do final changes and final preparations. But most importantly, we have our new season coming up shortly on the 28th and 29th of September. GT3's Project Cars will be back on track for the first round of the championship at Oschersleben, as we got a new driver in the session here tonight, as Famson GT has just dropped it and put it in the wall, so he will now return back to the pits. And let's have a look at the drivers this evening. We've got Disco with Disco Face. He's returning back once again for Forzi as well. We're currently P2, and he's only 500ths off the fastest of Disco. As I said, Famson GT is here racing. He's currently P3 in his Mercedes. Rabbit Joe returning once again in the Porsche 911. He is on track and making a few adjustments and changes to his car as he goes through Lesmo 1 into Lesmo 2. Peaceful Explosion, as always, returning this evening in his Ferrari. Can he do a little bit better than he did last time out? Can he get himself on pole position and try and score some good points here this evening? I think Matt has missed a lot of everything I've just said. Yes, he has. Nice. So I will repeat all that. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Simplay Motorsport for the final race of the season here at Monza in Italy. And for 2 seasons in a row, we finished here at Monza in Italy. And it's going to be the final resting place of this ACC Championship. An hour's race here as these guys are just making their final tweak and adjustment. But it is this man who's currently out on track, Matt Tahimovic, who is your champion. Him and Emo Guy level on wins at the minute, 2 wins apiece. Can Gavlar also get 2 wins to his name, or will Emo Guy or Matt be the better of the rest? Or can anyone else on the grid take a win here tonight? As Disco with Disco Face, or as John just has a big moment, puts it in the wall and then comes into the pits. But as it stands, Disco is fastest of the session so far, with 4Z in second. Third is our newcomer Famson GT. He's currently P3 at the minute, and he is going through the second chicane. Rabbit Joe out on track, still testing his car out in the Porsche 911, with Peaceful currently in the pits. John having that big moment out of Parabolica. He's currently making a few more changes back in the pits, as we see Gavlar going down the back straight, heading towards the Parabolica in his Ferrari. PM Motorsport for the final time. I will not be able to hear this lovely car anymore, but the V12 Aston Martin is here this evening. He's already said in the Discord he plans to deafen me with this car, so we'll see how he gets on this evening with that. Welshie in the bright yellow Lamborghini will not be in that Lamborghini for next season, as a lot of drivers change a lot of cars here at Simplay Motorsport for the Project Cars Championship for Pro and Pro-Am. Matt obviously here once again to try and take another win to his name. With Monkey Boy, can he get a win as well? He's been up in the top 3 for a while, and he's looking to try and at least get 1 win before the end of the season. And Emo Guy, the evil Scotsman, currently sat in the pits, and he doesn't tend to do a lot of practice. He tends to just sit and chill for most of it, as they got 20 minutes left of practice. It's a big practice session for these guys, as they've only just got going. Currently 12 drivers in the stream. Hopefully we can get a few more in, but it's nice to see Famson GT. What can he do this evening? His first appearance here at Simplay Motorsport. Can he go off and win his first race? That's the question. He goes through the first chicane now, and it's all about getting a decent lap here at Monza. Probably one of the more difficult circuits here to get right, as we will do a lap with Rabbit Joe in the Porsche 911 around here at Monza. As we go down the main straight in the Porsche 911, we will head towards turn 1, and he has to try and spot his braking point at the right time, around the 150 meter mark, and he does so. Want to make sure he gets the car slowed right down and gets into turn 1, and then straight into turn 2, low speed, make sure he has enough grip on the rear, heading towards turn 3 of the Curva Grande. Through Curva Grande he goes, making sure he goes flat out through here. This is where Sebastian Vettel first. Fernando Alonso off track. Managed to get back on track as well towards the second chicane, where Mika Hakkinen dropped it in a race and lost the win, and there's that famous scene of him crying underneath the trees live on the helicopter camera. As we head towards the 2 Lesmos, Lesmo 1, making sure you get a good run through Lesmo 1, because it will put you off for Lesmo 2. Runs out wide, using all the circuit he possibly can into Lesmo 2, slightly more open corner, as he tries to get a good run through there as he goes down the middle part of the sector, coming towards the end of sector 2 as he goes underneath the old banking. The track has been here for 100 years, and he goes underneath the banking towards Ascari, probably the most difficult part of this track, through the first part of the chicane into the second and third sections. He bounces over the curb and the car becomes unstable. He manages to keep it together, but into the wall he goes, and Rabbit Joe has a big moment, probably a lot of damage to his car, and that'll probably be him back to the pits. It is, as Gavlar will carry on for the lap for us, as he now heads down the back straight and heading towards the famous Parabolica. The final corner here, and if you've managed to get a good lap here at Monza, you can easily throw it away in the final corner as Gavlar goes into Parabolica, come in tight and allow the car to drift out wide. He's opting to stay tighter and tighter towards the exit, but towards the start-finish straight he comes. And that is a lap of Monza. Probably one of the most famous circuits in the world. And it looks like a shoe as well, so definitely one of the circuits where you can make a lot of mistakes very easy. You can gain a lot of time, but also make a lot of mistakes as well. As we've got a couple of people in the chat. We've got Disco McDiscoface saying, evening folks, good luck to you all. And JR Sim Racing saying, let's go, emo guy. PM Motorsport, evening all, pit confirm. Yes, PN, pit confirm. Pit confirm. And only a few people will understand that joke. As we get Keegs, aka Lucas Roth, into the session in his Aston Martin. Hopefully his wheel is wanting to play ball this evening, as he's been having some issues with that one. And also Gary131, the man who absolutely hates ACC. He's here this evening, and I look forward ripping into him this evening about how much he loves this game. Two-time champion, can he make it 3 times when we go to the first round of the season, the 28th and 29th at Oschersleben? As I just look at the times there, Matt and Disco have done the exact same time. Obviously Disco putting the lap down first, so he goes fastest of all, as Famsong goes top of the table now. And he goes 21 thousandths faster than Disco, so already the top 3 are very, very tight. Sorry, top 4. Borzi also just under a 10th here. So far, all these cars are evenly matched, and that's 4 different cars: Mercedes, Ferrari, Bentley, and Porsche, all very even. And let's hear you guys in the chat. Currently got 14 people in chat, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to be notified so you do not miss a single bit of action here at Simplay Motorsport, as we have got the most exciting season yet to come, and we've got all sorts of things going on as well. Possibly an IndyCar event, Indy 500, possibly hitting our screens very soon. Possibly also a Rallycross Champion Challenge as well. Maybe a opportunity for drivers to possibly win some money. Who knows? We will be discussing it in the admin team. I see Bamson there going through Lesmo 2. And already his debut here, and he's at the top of the table, but only just. The only man, I think, running the Mercedes-Benz here this evening. A car that's very popular on Project Cars, but here on ACC, not as popular. The most popular car here this evening is the Bentley, as there's 4 here this evening. We have 3 Porsches, we have 3 Ferraris, 1 Mercedes, 2 Aston Martins, both different models, of course. I believe that is everything, as Lucas Roth now comes out on track. And what can Keegs do here in his Aston Martin as he rolls to a stop? Oh no, he's got going again, trying to get some temperature in the tyres, giving it a good weave, as my F1 game is installed now, so that's nice to know. As Famsong goes even quicker again, he's found 4 tenths on him, on the rest of the guys behind. Matt needs some work to do as he's struggling to get that 4 tenths of him. Disco also looking to try and make an improvement out on track. But like I said, the most important thing is we have a new season coming up shortly. Season 7, as we have the pros and the pro-ams back on track, and what a season we have ahead of us. We have the returning champion of On All for Dub 16, 3 times champion. He's back on track, and I can confirm, as I am going to be driving the Audi R8 for next season, and can I take my title back? Also, The man to keep an eye on is your reigning champion, who's currently in the pits, Mata Himovic. Make sure you keep an eye on him, because he could possibly be a threat for next season. Another man to also keep an eye on every season, you need to keep an eye on him, is Gary 131, the two-time champ in season 1 and season 2 in the Porsche 911. Him and Matt are partnering up once again. I can't confirm quite yet what car they're in, because they're still debating on what car they want to drive, but they haven't got long to choose. Another man also to keep an eye on this season will be Big Boy Brazier, aka Jamie Brazier. He is a man to come back, ex-Pro-Am champion. He is put straight into Pro once again. Can he do any damage and try and win a title in the Pro? Still yet to do so. We've also got Overtaker coming back again, who gave Matt a run for his money last season, unable to finish the rest of the season, but nonetheless, Overtaker is very, very fast and returning in the Lamborghini. What can he do? And also rumours of a new driver, Richie 95, will be joining the grid for this season, missing Pro-Am and going straight into Pro, as he has got a reputation of being a very, very fast driver, and he is going to be watched for sure. And one and final driver to keep an eye on is Fury CBK, 2 times runner-up here in the Pros. Can he finally not be the bridesmaid and be the bride, take the title for himself, as he is looking also to try and put some pressure on the guys for next season. But we've got a couple of Ferraris here at the home circuit in Italy, and what beautiful weather we have here at the circuit. Currently track temperature is at 29 degrees, air temperature is 23 degrees. Track is classed as fast, and we have clear skies all the way through with no wind either. ACC with very, very technical information there, which is really blowing my mind every racing game we ever get, because it seems to get more and more advanced every time. For the new season ahead, I will read out the calendar for you guys. The first round of the season will be at Oschersleben in Germany for the first round of the season. And what a circuit we will start at. Probably a circuit that most of the drivers absolutely hate. So that'll be a good way to start the season. Round 2, we head to America as we go to the circuit of the Americas for the second round of the season. And round 3, we'll be heading to Spain, as we'll be doing a morning race at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Finally got that name right. Will be a morning race, and whatever lunatic decided to pick that track should get shot. Oh no, wait, that was me. As we go to round 4, Laguna Seca back to America for an evening race. That should be an interesting one, as it is just in the cusp of a hard or a soft tyre. We'll see what happens there, and then we will fly to Dubai for the 5th round of the season. Round 6, midway point of the season, we head back to America once again to Watkins Glen, a circuit that seems to be mixed feelings with most of the drivers. Some love it, some hate it. Very much a Marmite circuit. And then we head to Japan to Sekito, also known as Suzuka, for the 7th round of the title. And then we go down under to Australia, round 8 at Bathurst, Mount Panorama, for the next round of the season. From one famous circuit to another, we head to Le Mans, the shortened version of Bugatti, for round 9 of the championship. Round 10, we bring it back home to the UK as we go to Silverstone for two races on the bounce at the British Islands, as it will be a night race, and then we will head to a Brands Hatch GP for another night race as well for the penultimate round of the season. And we will finish everything off at the home of Simplay Motorsport. Round 12, the final race of the season, will be at Daytona Road. And what an exciting season we have for both Pro-Am and Pro. Pro-Am also looking very tasty as well, as we got Rabbit Joe returning back once again. He is currently on track in his Porsche, doing relatively well in 6th place position. We've also got KLF 900, aka Kelly Davis, aka my dad, will be on circuit at Pro-Am, and he's looking to try and at least get a title in the Pro-Am. Not won a title yet, but again, just like Fury, he has always been the bridesmaid, especially in the Pro-Am. Also Monkey Boy dropping down from the Pro and heading into Pro-Am, partnering up with KLF 900, and so far I've seen their car, and it's a very interesting choice of car, as these two will try and go for the title. Another man also to keep an eye on is Kieran Arjun. Arjun will look to try and retain at least a Constructors' Championship. He partnered up with Rabbit Joe a couple of seasons back and both won the title together. Also, Lucas Roth will be another man to keep an eye on as well. What can he do with the season ahead of him? Partnered up with Rabbit Joe is what I've heard, and those two are going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure. Both were looking to go for the Constructors, but there are all sorts of drivers in there. DJ Phil, Dean Wasocki is another driver to keep an eye on. That Bozzy Boy, and obviously the Flying Dutchman of Ukbar as well. Keep an eye on him. But our main focus is here for the final race of the season here in the ACC, and it is the new guy, Famsun GT, at the top of the table, and he's got 2/10 over Emo Guy, who has been phenomenal this season. If only he'd made Silverstone for the first round of the season, he could have been in a really good opportunity to have won this title. Sadly, he was unable to make it to the first round. What can he do this evening? Have we got more people in the chat? We've got Peaceful Stepdad in the chat saying good evening everybody and good luck. And also we've got Mummy D in the chat as well, evening all. As my mother's always here supporting the channel. That's nice to see. And we look on board with Disco there and there's debris all over the circuit. And I believe we could see some tasty action going into turn 1, a very, very slow point of the circuit as Matt goes through turn 1. Hey guys, get behind your drivers, get supporting them and get your votes in on who you think is going to take pole position here this evening. Like I said, just a practice session at the minute, and Emo Guy now goes top and he goes 7/10 faster as we see a lovely Lamborghini parked up on the side there of Welshie, and I've just realised he's the only Lamborghini. Oh, now he's doing donuts. So he's obviously playing to the Italian crowd of the Tifosi. And also we've just got Smokey Devil into the session as well in his Porsche 911. At least he's made it in time. We've got a Ferrari off there. I know a Bentley of Monkey Boy off track there. As Gary 131 is on track. Across this line. What lap time does he do? Not a valid one. So he is unable to improve on his spot. As he now heads to turn 1. What can Emo Guy do this evening? He's really focused on trying to at least get 3 wins. Most wins this season. Can he do that before Matt does so? And at the minute, he's got 1.1 gap over Matt at the stage. So far, so good. As he heads through Ascari. So make sure you put a reminder for the season ahead. Also rumours of going to F1 2022 for next season as well. As it is crossplay, Simplay Motorsport will have the opportunity to expand onto different channels, onto Xbox, PC, and obviously still staying here at PlayStation as well. So these guys get their last bits of practice in. Just keep an eye on the movers at the minute. Ferrari once again looking like they have pace, with Disco currently in P3, Gavlar in P6 and Peaceful in P7 as well, so they seem to have pace. Porsches here seem to be struggling. Forzy at the minute, fastest Porsche 911 at the minute, with Rabbit Joe down in 8th. He's 2.2 off the pace at this stage. So Forzy across the line, he makes no improvement. Oh, he does, sorry, he does go. He goes into 2nd place. He's half a second off Emo Guy, so that was a good lap from Forzy, as he now slows down to possibly return it back to the pits. As Peaceful Step says, good evening, Mummy D, with the waving emoji as well. As Gavlar also very slow towards turn 1, allowing cars to go through and not causing any issues. As there is a lot of cars through sector 1, as we got Lucas Roth going through there. Rabbit Joe by the sound of things as well. I think he's stopped actually. There's quite a few cars stopped. I think Gary 131's another one that's come to a stop there. So a lot of cars stopped in the chicane. My favourite car still in the pits at the minute of PM Motorsport. Would love to hear this car go around one more time, but he's not quite giving me a show at the minute, so we'll have to wait a little bit later on. So these guys have got 4 minutes left of their session, and we'll be going into a 20-minute qualifying session, then into an hour's race, where they will have to do a tyre change. And this race is going to be interesting because it is, like I said, mainly flat out straights. I believe the F1 cars are 85% throttle around this track, full throttle. So it's a very, very fast circuit. And all these guys will have to try and keep their concentration up. As Mummy D in the chat says, even peaceful stepped up well. And I believe he definitely is well, because he is sitting here watching SimPlay Motorsport, the best racing league. Oh, as Joe has a big moment out of Ascari. Drop the rear, and onto the grass he goes. As he is being chased by another Porsche 911, and that is Gary 131 as they both head towards Parabolica. Also got Monkey Boy looking down the inside of Rabbit Joe going wide and allowing him through. As John also, I haven't seen John for a minute, so we'll go on board with John as we have the last moments of this session, as I think a few of the guys just improved there. Gary gets himself into P10. Lucas Roth currently P9. So all these guys find a little bit more time. As Disco has also gone on P4, and he's the leading group driver out on track at the minute. Where is he to? He is currently exiting Parabolica. He's got John coming up behind him. As Disco goes up to P2, he's now only 4/10 off of Emo Guy. And John, any improvement from him? No, he does not improve. Expect that now gets out on track in this Porsche 911. Also, there's a big moment behind. I think that was Gary 131. Yes, it was. In the wall he goes and comes to a stop. He will now return back to the pits after taking damage on his Porsche. Monkey Boy just seems to be struggling with Lesmo 1. Once again, he's all over the place on Lesmo 2 as well, so he's really struggling through that section. Bentley seems to be a bit unstable through there. Lucas Roth now heading towards Parabolica. As we do have Emo Guy in the chat, debuting a car change for next season of ACC. Those that know me might know what car that may be. And Matt in the chat reckons it's the Lambo. Possibly so. Or he's probably going into this car because he will be doing an 8-hour endurance race with Matimovic, Rabbit Joe, Emo Guy, and I believe N Plavo as well. All 4 of these guys will be doing an 8-hour endurance race, obviously not here at SimPlay Motorsport, on another channel as well. So you could give those guys some big support for them, as they will be representing SimPlay Motorsport. As Peaceful says, bad back, Mummy D, but we'll survive. Thanks for asking. How are you? Or more like, are you okay? That's what I meant to say. Did I read that wrong? Right now, Monkey Boy looking to try and make those few little changes. There's 20 seconds left of the session, so all these guys will be... Oh, Lucas Roth, big moment, and in the wall he goes. That's a return to the pits, and he parks just where Daniel Ricciardo's F1 broke down on the last F1 race. So all these guys on track, possibly trying to finish their laps, but they will be coming back to the pits any moment's time, so we can get qualifying on the way. Matt and Dan, you are both wrong. Okay, so I've got to think long and hard now of what car he's going to be driving. I'm just trying to think what Emo Guy would drive. I'm just trying to think of all the races I've raced him against. I don't think I've ever raced him on ACC, and I don't remember what he drove. I'm going to figure that one out, and Emo Guy, if I get it right, just let me know. That'd be great. As I think... Is it the Ferrari, Emo Guy? It might be the Ferrari. I feel like I've seen you drive the Ferrari before. As Monkey Boy will end his session there. as does Peaceful coming to the final few corners himself. Making way back to the pits. John's just finishing a lap also. Smoky Devil, who was going across the line already, misses turn 1 and has to cut the chicane. Over the sleeping policeman he go. A Peaceful explosion towards the line. Does he improve on a P6? He does, and he goes P2, a 10th off of Emo Guy. So that was a great lap there from Peaceful Explosion. Question is are these guys going to try and get toes? That's the question. Are they going to try and get each other's slipstream? That is the question. That is the end of the practice session. These guys will now head out on track. Lucas Roth on the move. Also, we have Emo Guy going straight out. He will be the first man out on track. Towards turn 1 they go. 20-minute practice session for these guys. And what can Emo Guy do? Can he continue to keep it on pole position? Car that we use for our 24-hour race on Project Cars. I'm gonna have to do some research now. Obviously, it won't be the Bentley because he said he's gonna change car. I don't think the Jeanetta's on ACC, so there's the guy. Let's try and find him. I'm actually now looking at our 24-hour stream so I can find it. And have a look at our 24-hour stream back all the way. When was this? It was exactly a year ago, according to this, where we did the Simplay Motorsport 24-hour of cancer research in honor of Sabine Schmidt, and we raised a heck of a lot of money for memory of her. Queen of the Nordschleife. I remember I actually shared a drive with my dad on that one. I think I know what the car is now. I think it's the GTR. Emo Guy, he can confirm, I believe you'll be driving the GTR. I keep scrolling back. Yes, it is the GTR. It is the GTR that I believe Emo Guy will be running next season, if that's the information he's going to give me. So that's an interesting choice. A very, very bold choice indeed, as Liam really struggled a bit last week at Nürburgring. Disco says that Famson can't qualify, and I believe that's correct. Peaceful Stepdad, feet up and chill, race and watch the racing like we will survive, says Nikki, Mummy D in the chat. So I don't know if Matt has told him, but Famos GT cannot qualify, but he's currently on track at the minute. It looks like he's going to set a lap time. He goes through Parabolica. Does he set a lap time? Not yet. But it will be Emo Guy who will set the first lap time here, as he will now head towards Parabolica. And the reason obviously Famson GT can't qualify is due to the fact that he is a newcomer here, and obviously we are towards the end of the season, so there's still positions and championships to think of, and a newcomer obviously getting involved will cause a bit of drama. So towards the line, Emo Guy does a 50.4. Now the question is, can Peaceful get any closer to that? John goes into P2. Gavlar next towards the line as Lucas Roth goes P2 as well. 1.3 as Gavlar now goes P2. He goes within 6/10 off the back of Emo Guy. The 16 of Rabbit Joe next come towards the line. What has he done here? Is he able to get himself towards the front row? He will start P4 as it stands. Number 11, Peaceful Explosion. Through the Parabolica he goes. Towards the start finish line he comes. And what's the lap time? He's 9/10 off the best of Emo Guy. So a lot of work there for Peaceful to do. And here is the beautiful V12 Aston Martin, and listen to all its glory as he heads towards the start finish line. He goes P7. I do enjoy the sound of that Aston because it sounds absolutely fantastic. Gary 131 has just exit Ascari. Vamos GT towards line P11 at the minute, and he will put himself P3. What can Disco do? He's currently going through Parabolica, but Gary 131, Disco is going through Ascari. Gary's going through Parabolica, and towards the line he comes, and he doesn't set a lap time, so you have to wait a little bit longer. Emo Guy through Parabolica with a little bit of a windbreak as he goes to 49.8. A really quick lap time there from Emo Guy. Disco only can go P7 in his Ferrari, so a little bit more time for him to find. Matt currently in Lesmo 1 and heading towards the Lesmo 2. Who else is on a lap time here? Next is Rabbit Joe. Through Parabolica he goes. Number 12 of Lucas Roth, he's still currently P5. Rabbit Joe towards the inside, trying to shorten the line. He goes P5 and just jumps ahead of Lucas Roth. He finds a 10th over him. Peaceful Explosion, can he get a little bit closer to Emo Guy? He goes P2 and finds 2 tenths behind him, so what a lap there from Peaceful Explosion. Brilliant stuff from him. Now PN goes through. Oh, he bounces through Ascari. Over the curb he goes. Open up that Aston power down the back straight towards the final corner. Into Parabolica he goes. Matt currently in Parabolica. I say in, he's coming back out towards the line. No lap time set, so this will start his lap as Bamson GT goes P3, and then PN Motorsport has come into the pits, and we probably won't see him for the rest of this session. As Gary 131 towards the line, has he put a lap time together? He has, puts himself P7, but keep an eye out for Gary in the race. He's a much better racer and can work his way at the start of any race, as Emo Guy, no improvement. Still only 2 tenths ahead of Peaceful Explosion. So these guys now coming through further end of the circuit. Monkey Boy finally out on track. As I'm trying to find the next car towards the line. That'll be Lucas Roth in the Aston Martin. Does he find a little bit more time? He does find a bit more time and go ahead of Rabbit Joe. So those two are swapping positions, as they're pretty much similar on track as well. Rabbit Joe towards the line now. Any improvement? Yes, he jumps ahead of Lucas Roth, and these two just seem to keep swapping positions at the minute. As Forzy now comes out on track. As the next man to keep an eye on for is Matt Himovic. He goes through the chicane, your current ACC champion for season 1 here at Simplay Motorsport. As he goes towards Parabolica now. What can Matt do? Can he get himself at least in the top 4? A really challenge for Emo Guy in this final race. He runs a little bit wide through Parabolica, and a natural line towards the line he comes. And he goes P5. So a little bit off the pace there. Gavlar a little bit quicker than him at the stage. Welshi also going through Parabolica. What lap time can he do? No lap time set at the minute. Number for him. Monkey Boy runs a little bit wide there. He's got Gary 131 just ahead of him, currently 9th place position. What can he do? Does he improve? No, he does not. Monkey Boy, lap time on the board? No. All these guys just struggling as Emo Guy extends his gap. Disco McDisco face towards the line. He's currently P8 and he goes P4 and drops Matt further down the order. You see there, 87 to John. He now slips in between Gary and Lucas Roth for 9th place position. So all these guys starting to improve their laps. Currently a car coming towards Parabolica. That is Forzy, and I believe he is on an out lap. And what can he do? We've got a couple of yellow flags, possibly a load of cars coming to a stop. Forzy, no lap time set. We are coming to the last half of qualifying, so these guys got their last opportunities to try and score the best start they can get. As Matt now comes through Parabolica, hitting his braking points. And through the Parabolica he goes. Any improvement from Matt? No, he will stay P6 as it stands, but he's still got a little bit of time left to go. I believe that was no, it's not Rabbit Joe. Peaceful still to find a little bit more time to try and go ahead of Emo Guy, but at least we'll be starting on the front row with him. Monkey Boy still gets set a lap time. He is in the slipstream of Emo Guy as it stands. Towards the line he goes 14th at the minute, and still no lap time set from Monkey Boy, so he seems to be struggling. John is just exiting the pits. And Disco finds a little bit more time, but not enough to go ahead of Famson GT. As we also just get Dimasaki into the session in his McLaren, he is out on track. He's just managing to just try and stay out of people's way, as Lucas Roth doesn't improve either. But his rival, Rabbit Joe, not too far behind him, it's in the final corner. So what can Rabbit do? Can he go a little bit faster? Can he find 3/10 to go ahead of Matt? He cannot, so we'll have to try again this lap. As you see here, it's Gavlar going towards Ascari, trying to find every little bit of time he can find. Smoky Devil now starts his flying lap. Oh, Peaceful, big moment, and into the wall he goes. So that's going to be a return back to the pits because he will have damage on that car, as Matt will fly past him towards Parabolica. In the final corner he goes. What can Matt do here? Can he get himself a little bit closer to Emo Guy? Crosses the line and no improvement, will stay P6 as it stands. Really struggling to find the pace here is Matt. This Monkey Boy now coming towards the final corner, and Emo Guy improves even more. He's at a 49.1. He's got near enough a whole second on the rest of the pack. But Monkey Boy, lap time still to set 14 as it stands. Across the line, and he goes P6 with that one. Welshie again still set a lap time for himself. Next man into Parabolica is Lucas Roth. Disco now goes to P3. So what can Lucas Roth do? 12th at 9th at the minute. Again, no improvements. So some of these guys are now starting to hit their ability walls and can't improve. Forzy currently P10, 2.6 off the pace of Emo Guy. As through Parabolica he goes towards the start finish line. And he does improve, he goes P7, a 10th off of Monkey Boy at the minute. So I believe there is a car about to come out on track. Doesn't sound like it. That's Matejevic right at the minute at 8th position at the minute, 2 seconds off the pace. Has he found a little bit more pace now? He gets so close to the grass, does not want to get any closer than that. Through Parabolica he goes towards start finish line, he comes. And he goes P2. He is 8/10 off the fastest pace set by Emo Guy. So Matt now has really put himself into contention. Will be starting on the front row with his championship rival. No, Monkey Boy is into the final corner. He is currently in 7th place. 7th place at the minute. Can he find a little bit more time? No, he will stay there at the minute as there's a massive flux of cars coming through here now. I'm not sure which they are. As I know, Gary 131 is going towards Parabolica as we speak. Oh, big sideways there for Gary. He gets it all together. Disco currently P4. Has Disco improved? No, he doesn't. So he's trying to use the slipstream of Gary 131. It's turn 1 they go. Lucas Roth still can't get himself ahead of a Rabbit Joe as well. She has to straight line the chicane. So we're coming down to the last 4 minutes of this session. Matt is now heading towards Parabolica. I think he's bailing on this lap. And that's Famsun GT going through Parabolica. He's got Gavlar right behind him in the Ferrari, possibly trying to get a tow off the back of the Mercedes. He has a big wiggle, so currently P6. Towards the line he comes. And no improvement, nor Gavlar. So all these guys just struggling to find those few little tenths now. Smoky Devil towards the line. No lap time set for him. So all these guys just starting to get to at their peak, and they cannot improve on their lap times. Nor can Monkey Boy, he's struggling there. 87, that's John. Any improvement? He does improve, but he doesn't improve his position. So he'll have to stay in P11, the number 16 of Rabbit Joe. No improvement, he stays where he is. It's peaceful exposure towards the line. He's 9/10 off the pace at the minute. As he'll start a flying lap here. All the guys now just trying to find every little bit of pace they can and try and get themselves the best positioning start they can get. 2.5 minutes left of this session. And at the minute, it is Emo Guy who is on pole position, and so far no one can get close to him. Currently 8/10 ahead of Matahimovic. Like I said, Monza is a circuit where you want to make sure you are perfect every single lap. Every second matters here. You might have done the fastest first and second sector, but until you get to Parabolica, you could lose it all in that section, as I believe Monkey Boy has had a moment and returned to the pits. So Gavlar, no improvement there. He currently stays P7. As all these guys now finishing their session, they're going to be starting their final laps here. Matt possibly giving Monkey Boy a little bit of a tow here. Matt towards line, no improvement. Monkey Boy now will get a very, very good slipstream off of his teammate. As Peaceful bounces over the curb and into the wall he goes. That will be his qualifying session done, and he will return back to the pits as he does so. Disco now into the final corner with towing a Lucas Roth around with him. So as Keeks found a little bit more pace, following the back of that Ferrari of Disco. Disco towards the line, no improvement. Lucas Roth improves and goes ahead of Rabbit Joe. So at the minute, he'll have bragging rights over Rabbit Joe, and he is currently in the pits. Monkey Boy's bailed on his lap. So all these guys on their final laps. Forsey still P5. So all these guys are getting their last few little attempts in. And Welshie still to get a lap time on the board. As he straight lines again, he's really struggling here. As we are now into the final part of qualifying. These are all their last laps. Gavlar into Parabolica, currently P6. So far this is going to be the running order. Gavlar now towards the line. Does he improve on P6? No, he will stay P6. There's a car going through Parabolica now. That is Smoky Devil. Any improvement? He does go up to 11th, so that will help him out. It's just John left on a lap time. And Forsey, he was currently going through Lesmo 2. As John goes to the line now, any improvement? No, he will stay P10. Forsey now through Ascari. Really pushing the limits there. Trying to get the best out of his Porsche 911, really pushing the track limits there. I don't know if that lap time will be allowed. But it's going to be this man once again. Emo Guy, top of the tables, takes another pole position here. As Fangson GT has left the session. If I can't beat Matt on points, I'll beat him on the wins, says Emo Guy. So he is out to try and beat him on points. Wins, I mean. But it is Emo Guy who will start on pole position here this evening. As GR Sim Racing says, let's go. Emo Guy is very happy about that one. So once again, it's an all Bentley front row with Emo Guy and Matimovic, your two most race winners this season, both on 2 apiece. Who is going to be the winner tonight to have the most race wins here this evening? Or will Gavlar manage to make it an even amount between all the drivers? That's the question. 2 wins apiece. Or can someone else take the win here this evening? Plenty of drivers capable of doing so. Do not miss any of the action. Disco podium question mark, says JR Sim Racing. Disco could probably win this race. Anything can happen, and that's the great thing about Simplay Motorsport. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit that bell to be notified for when we are live. As Disco says exactly what I was thinking. Anything can happen at Monza Eddie. Lol in the chat. So Disco is possibly trying to go for a podium. But like I said, anything can happen. Daniel Ricciardo taking a win last time out at Monza. Gasly the year before, and obviously Charles Leclerc the year before that. And this year went the way of Max Verstappen. As we are now getting these guys just getting the session ready to go. As it is taking a while to do so. As there we go, all the cars are now getting lined up. A rolling start here. A mandatory pit stop will be asked of these guys, and they'll have to pit within the pit window. It will be 10 minutes. They will have to pit. And right now, it's going to be between Emo Guy and Matimovic for the front row. It's going to be an all Ferrari second row, with Peaceful and Disco in 3rd and 4th. There's going to be Forsey and Gavlar, P5 and 6, Porsche and Ferrari lining one another. With row 4 going the way of Monkey Boy in P7 and Lucas Roth in P8. Row 5 will be Rabbit Joe and John. in P9 and 10. Row 6 will be Smoky Devil and Gary 131 in 12. Row 7 is Dean Wasaki in P13 with PN Motorsport in 14th. And then Welshie will start 15th. As we have missed
30 seconds.
Bamson GT, he's currently not in the session. If he does get in, he will be starting from the pit lane. As the cars will now start their engines.
20 seconds.
As we are going to get underway very shortly here. 1 hour of racing here at Monza. Final race of the season. Simplay Motorsports ACC Championship has come to an end. It has gone the way of Matt Timovic, but there are still many opportunities here for these guys to get one more win and a few more points to finish higher up in the table. It is Emo Guy who will take the cars away towards Parabolica. There you go. Bentley front row with 2 Ferraris right behind them. And what is going to happen in turn 1? There could be absolute chaos. And I'll try my very best to get all the action as they come towards the start finish line now. 15 cars on track. Who's going to be on top? Matt or Emo Guy, front row, as we are now
green light.
We are green here at Monza, and Emo Guy and Matt seem to have an even start. It looks like Matt actually has the better jump over Emo Guy as we head towards turn 1. Towards turn 1 we go, and it looks like Matt's just got a hairline in front, but Emo Guy is going to be a lot later on the brakes as we all head into turn 1, and they've all been relatively sensible here. As Disco bounced over the curb, he makes contact with Peaceful, and all the guys managing to make way through, but there goes Gavlar. Peaceful's in the wall as well, and Forzi makes all the moves there, and he moves himself up into P3 as the top 2 have long gone into the distance. Meanwhile, Gary 131 once again with a brilliant start has worked his way up the order, but as Emo Guy leads through second chicane, more importantly, it's the action that's going on behind. There's all sorts of chaos going on. Gary's gone wide. That's allowed Disco through. Monkey Boy avoiding the sliding Porsche as he now goes down the inside of Gary 131 through Lesmo. 1 they go. The rest of the order funnel their way through as PN's just struggling to get himself off the grass. He's got to lose out to everybody there. And while she goes through in his 69 Lamborghini. But Emo Guy now leads this race, and does so with a decent gap over Matt with 8/10 over him, as the rest of the pack are quite a bit away. So the 2 Bentleys have managed to disappear into the distance. It's Forzi, Disco, Monkey Boy, Gary 131, Rabbit Joe, John in 8th, 9th is Smoky Devil, 10th is Gavlar, 11th is Lucas Roth, 12th is Dean, he's had a decent start with Peaceful in 13th, 14th is Welshie, and PM Motorsport bringing up rear as Dean went flying there in his McLaren. And he manages to get going once again, but he's dropped to the back of the pack. Emo Guy towards the start finish straight, and we'll start lap 2 here. The pit lane has been opened for any damages, but Matt looks like he's had a moment somewhere, probably through Ascari, and has lost 4.1 seconds. As now Forzi's looking interested as they go to turn 1. Is he going to send it down the inside of turn 1? He gets close, but thinks better of it as Disco gets close to them as well. Monkey Boy, sorry, just behind him. And the other Bentley leading this pack. And Bentley following it as well. Trying to make a move on Disco as Gary, Rabbit Joe, and John funnel their through. Smoky Devil as well. Gavlar and Lucas Roth all rounding out the top 11. Emo Guy now trying to stretch his legs to try and get the most wins here. All the guys now just trying to get themselves into a rhythm as Lucas Roth there bouncing over the curb, as is Peaceful as well as PM Motorsport. He launched his Aston Martin in the air there. Imagine keeping it on track as Dean just struggling in the background to get his McLaren to work at the minute. But it is Fawzi who's trying to put a little bit of pressure onto Matt now. Try and get Matt to make some mistakes. Do a scurry, they go. Matt squeaky clean through there. Fawzi looks like he's having to fight the wheel a little bit. And at the minute, Fawzi, the highest of the non-race winners, on trying to attack the two Bentleys. As through the final corner they go. Monkey Boy very, very wide. He's not even on track as he goes that wide. It's going to allow Disco to possibly get a little bit closer. John, though, he's looking like he's going on the attack of Rabbit Joe. John looking very good here in his Bentley, trying to hunt down the Porsche 911 of Rabbit Joe. Towards the chicane, there you go. Is John going to think about sending it down the inside of turn 1? He's going to wait a little bit longer so he can have a much better opportunity to attack. Curve of Grande, there you go. John actually losing time in the first chicane, and all these guys are already strung out. A couple of them have got a second and a half, a second gap, but at the minute it's all strung out. No one's really close to anybody. This Fawzi goes very wide there, taking a lot of curb. It looks like the Porsches are really pushing the limits here, really struggling to keep their cars under control. As Gavilar now is quite up the rear bumper of Smoky Devil. Smoky Devil makes a mistake out of the exit of Lesmo 2. Gavilar's looking all over the back of the Porsche 911. Boy, Gavilar's all over the grass. He's going to try and send it up into the chicane. Does so. Will he stay ahead of Smoky Devil? It looks like he's got the overcut and he will stay ahead of Smoky Devil, so good move from him. John No now 6/10 separating him and Rabbit Joe. That's a close fight between those two. At the minute, Rabbit Joe in 7th place at the minute. Want to finish his season on a high. Towards the start finish line he goes. Gap is still just under 6/10, so John is coming at Rabbit Joe. Is he going to try and send it into turn 1? He's a lot closer this time. Doesn't do so. And just a little bit off Gary 131, who's trying to keep it as consistent as he possibly can. Smoky Devil now half a second off of Gavilar, so he's starting to lose time to previous race winner at Catalonia. Both of those two were on an amazing run. Looked like they were both going to hit 1-2, but Matt and Big Boy Brazier managed to hunt down Smoky Devil. Gavilar was long gone into the distance. Emo Guy now with 6-second gap over Matt, and he can now start to eke his gap ever so slightly. Start to take his time and cruise. Try and extend that lead over Matahimovic, who's now made a decent gap over Fawzi and Monkey Boy. And Monkey Boy looks like he's lost a little bit of time to Disco McDisco Face as they now head through the chicane. You see the split is still 1.1 between those two, so it's still relatively close. There's Disco really hanging it sideways there, but more importantly, Rabbit Joe is under more pressure from John here. He's 4/10 off the back of him. They now head towards Parabolica. All John needs to do is get a decent run through Parabolica and then send it into turn 1. Making sure he gets his breaker done in a straight line so that he can get the best exit he possibly can. He runs a little bit wide, but he will get the slipstream off the back of the Porsche 911. Problem is that Bentley is so big, it's really struggling to push his way through the aerodynamics of that Porsche 911. Again, he's just lost that time through Parabolica, so he's not able to attack Rabbit Joe this lap. Rabbit Joe though goes very deep through the first chicane, and John gets a little bit closer again. He's just eking that gap ever so slightly, bit by bit. He's getting a bit closer to the back of the Porsche. Aussie now starting to extend his gap over Monkey Boy. Oh, Monkey Boy bouncing right over the curb onto the gravel he goes. And that's going to slow him right down. That's going to bring Disco back into show. Also Gary 131. Rabbit Joe still defending from John. John now starting to come under pressure from Gavlar, who's got clean air, and Smoky Devil just hanging on to the back of him as well. Emo Guy through Ascari with a very comfortable gap at the minute. 7 seconds over Matahimovic. For the moment, these guys will have to pit at some point and do a tyre change, and that will be 35 minutes left of the session. And that'll be 10 minutes of pit window. If they do not pit within that pit window, they will get a penalty. I believe the penalty is 180 seconds. So you want to make sure you pit at the right time. John here just seems to have a yo-yo effect. 1 minute he gets within touching distance of Rabbit Joe. Next minute he loses out time. And at the minute he's starting to fall into the clutches of Gavlar, who's on a mission at the minute to work his way up the pack. So John going from being the one who's attacking to one now being to defend. Oh, as Rabbit Joe messes up the first chicane, that's really going to concertina them up. And John now right on the back of Rabbit Joe, but Gavlar has had a much better run out of the chicane. And through he goes. Rabbit Joe now is going to be under pressure from the Ferrari, and that all started from Rabbit Joe messing up the chicane. And John was the big loser out of that one. And he now drops down to the 9th place position. Oh, Gary 131 all over the gravel there. Now Rabbit Joe, you see him, he's under so much pressure here now from Gavlar. This is where you got to try and have a cool head and keep your head focused on what you are doing, not watching the car behind. Rabbit Joe been under this pressure so many times. Can he keep Gavlar behind him? The 16 versus the 26, Ferrari versus Porsche, as they now head towards Ascari. Under the banking they go, towards Ascari they go. Gavlar looks down the inside. How late on the brakes is he? He's not late enough. Possibly trying to put Rabbit Joe off, put him offline so that he can attack him. But right now, Rabbit Joe has managed to just keep hold of that position and extend a little bit of a gap to Gavlar, who's so focused on trying to distract Rabbit Joe, he himself has lost time as they head into Parabolica. As these guys are pushing on, this is allowing Smoky Devil just to get that a little bit closer as well to the two guys in front of him. So all you guys, once again, like I said, concertinaing up, all from Rabbit Joe's mistake in turn 1. Towards turn 1 they go. Can Rabbit Joe just keep it under control? Slowly going down the gears. There's now Gavlar. Looks like he has a much better run once again through the second part of the first corner. Second chicane, they come. Gavlar a little bit closer, he tries to get later on the brakes there. Couldn't quite get within touching distance of Rabbit Joe. You can just see he's trying everything he possibly can to be a little bit quicker in the places that he needs to be. John now really gone off the pace here. Has just dropped back. Gavlar closer than he's ever been to Rabbit Joe. Can he send it into Ascari this time, or is he just going to have another look again? So heads towards Ascari chicane now. Gavlar looks to the inside again, tries to put Rabbit Joe offline. Joe does mess up his line a little bit. Gavlar's right there as Rabbit Joe touches the curb. He loses the rear onto the grass, and he now loses the pace to Gavlar. So cracking under the pressure, and Rabbit Joe's made the mistake. Can John now benefit from that one? He has to think about it through Parabolica, but decides to bail out of that one. He runs very wide through Parabolica. Rabbit Joe also not a very good run through there as these two will now continue their fight as Gavlar has managed to clear the pair of them. Meanwhile, Gary 131 has got right onto the back of Disco McDisco base. So as Disco made a mistake somewhere, podium might be slipping from his fingers here. Let's see in the chat, Ratchet, let's go Emo Guy, good luck for this race. As he's supporting his fellow ACC driver. But looking here, Gary 131 looking to the outside as they go through the Curva Grande. And he's gonna try and muscle his way around Disco, sticking to his guns on the inside. But Gary 131 gets himself ahead, but is Disco gonna try and send it into the chicane? He tries to do so. Gary runs a little bit wide. Disco's gonna have the inside for Lesmo 1. Great race in between these two, Ferrari versus Porsche. Gary's gonna hold it strong on the outside, and Disco not quite able to get the job done. This is allowing Gavlar to get onto the back of him. So now Disco trying to get the better run on Gary 131 as they head to Ascari. Gavlar is just hoping these two hold each other up a little bit more so he can then gain another position. They've lost massively out to Monkey Boy in the Bentley. Disco now right on the rear wing of Gary 131. He's actually on the inside as they go towards Parabolica. That Ferrari's got a lot better straight line speed. And down the inside goes Disco. Gary's wise enough to think about coming back for the cutback or even try and get the slipstream so he can attack in turn 1. Great racing from these two. As Disco goes to the inside, Gary's going to look to the outside, and once again that Ferrari's just got enough of a grunt in a straight line to stay ahead of the Porsche. Is Gary going to be brave enough on the brakes? Disco has to stay to the inside, but he's missed his brake in and goes straight on. He's going to have to concede the place to Gary though. Go straight through the chicane. Through goes Gary 131, but Disco's got to be careful not to lose a place to Gavlar as Gavlar looks to the inside and can't do so. But Disco hangs on to that sixth place position as he will be able to try and come and attack Gary 131 once again as Gavlar is going to send it into the chicane, but thinks better of it. Rabbit Joe now also getting onto the back. Currently 18 people watching the stream, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you do not miss up any of the action here at Simplay Motorsport. But right now, Disco is still looking to try and find a way past Gary 131 as Gary looks a little bit sketchy on the exit of Lesmo 2. And once again, Gavlar is going to get closer as well, with Rabbit Joe ever so closer as well. All these guys are within seconds of each other. Oh, as Disco has a big moment and in the wall he goes. Massive moment, over the curb he goes. The car went flying in the air. And he's now lost out to Gavlar and Rabbit Joe. Is he going to lose out to John as well? That's the question. How much damage has Disco got from launching himself into the sky? That is the question. This doesn't look too bad at the minute. He's lost a heck of a lot of places. And now that has released Gary 131. Towards turn 1 we go. Gary 131 has now extended that gap. Disco is going to look to try and make a move on Rabbit Joe. Or Gary's actually made a mistake in the second corner, and that's going to allow Gavlar to be interested in making a move. To the chicane they come. Disco has actually lost time to Rabbit Joe. But Gavlar right on the rear wing of Gary 131. Like I said, guys, get behind your drivers, support them as they are trying to get their final few positions and places for this ACC Championship. What a season it has been. Really been the way of two drivers this season. Emo Guy and Matumovic have been the stars of this season. And they're going to finish by the looks of things at the top as it stands, but there's still 42 minutes left to go of this race. And then we'll be looking to focus on Season 7, our new season ahead, as I think Monkey Boy's at the moment. He's on the grass all over the shot. Matches to get it going, but these guys are coming at him very, very fast. Gavlar now a little bit closer to Gary 131. Also, Welsh and PM Motorsport having a great little scrap at the back. Gavlar, again, like I said, a little bit more closer. 4/10 now separating these two. He's going to have a lunge through turn 1. It's Gary 131, a two-time champ. Opted not to defend, but Gavlar sticks his nose in, has a think about it, bails out. Whoa, John missing his brakes there, going straight on. Disco obviously having to straight line the chicane as well. So John there, have to give the place to Disco. As Disco now gets onto the back of him, and Disco will get that position back. Gavlar here just lost a little bit of time. Rabbit Joe now creeping onto the back of him. Ooh, Matt has a moment of distraction there. He nearly puts himself in the wall. Not sure what he was doing there. He's got a 9-second gap over Forzy and nearly put himself in the wall. But top 3 now got it relatively easy. Monkey Boy made a mistake. He's dropped down to possibly the clutches of Gary 131, but he has still got his hands full with Gavlar. Rabbit Joe in 7th, and Disco still trying to recover to get himself back onto the train. But as we come to the end of lap 10 and the Emo guy starts lap 11, he is still leading this race with a good, comfortable gap of pretty much 12 seconds. With Matimovic currently in the P2. With Forzy with a solid P3 at the minute. P4 is going the way of Monkey Boy, but I think he's had a little moment again, which gets him closer and closer to the clutches of the 5th place man of Gary 131, who is still under pressure from Gavlar. Rabbit Joe having a solid drive in P7, and Disco McDiscoface currently P8. John in P9. After missing his brakes massively, he has just got his Bentley back under control. Smoky Devil currently in P10. Keeping himself ahead of Lucas Roth, who also has pressure from Peaceful Explosion, currently in 12th. Looking like he was very solid in qualifying. Started on the 2nd row and he's dropped down to P12. Welshie currently in 13th and having a great little scrap with PM Motorsport in 14th. And once again, Dean Masoki bringing up the rear in the McLaren, but giving it a good shot nonetheless. But we go back to Gary and Gavlar. As they are currently P5 and P6, 7/10 separating. And Monkey Boy's had a moment through the chicane. Gary also having a moment. Gavlar getting really interested now as they head towards Lesmo 1. Just patience from Gavlar. He needs to just take his time, wait for the right moment to attack. As he runs a little bit wide there. Gary 131 all over the back of him. Oh, as Gavlar takes a lot of curb there. That's on the car, but he still had a great run through that back straight, and that's going to allow him to get right on the rear wing of the Porsche 911. Does Gary think that he has to defend? Gavlar is looking to the inside of Ascari. Is he going to get the job done? He gets the nose up. Gary gives him space. It's not quite enough. Through Ascari, there you go. Gary 131 still trying to extend his gap over Gavlar, but it's not working. Gavlar is closer than he's ever been. A bit further down the order, Peaceful is getting closer to Lucas Roth, but by those things, both of these two are carrying damage. Oh, Lucas Roth has a big moment through the exit of Ascari, and that's allowed Peaceful to go through. Or not quite, there is Peaceful. I think Peaceful's had a moment for Ascari as well, but he will now work his way past Lucas Roth. That's now Gavlar, P6, looking to make a move on Gary 131. Gary once again bouncing over that curb. Pit window opens in about 2 minutes time, so these guys will be able to pit. Someone's taking out the polystyrene arrows. Lucas Roth also back on 4/10 of Peaceful, looking to the inside of turn 1, but thinks better of it. There's now Gary and Gavlar into sector 2. What can Gavlar do? He's going to be running out of options soon. Gary's going to learn every single move that Gavlar is going to attempt. And at the minute, Gavlar has no answer as Gary runs a little bit wide there. So possibly that's what Gavlar's going to hope for, a little mistake. As Gavlar himself makes mistakes, runs wide and onto the grass and gravel he goes. Towards Ascari, there you go. Gavlar lost a lot of time through there, a lot of momentum, and that's giving Gary a gap of 1 second. We go back to Lucas Roth and Peaceful, who seem to be having a good little scrap. Smoky Devil's just ahead of Peaceful Explosion, so he's slowly working his way up the order. But here's Emo Guy with a very comfortable lead out in front. Martinovic currently second, Forsey in P3, Monkey Boy P4. Now can Gary start to work his way on Monkey Boy? The car number 4 in P number 4. Gary 131 is on the hunt. But Gavlar is going with him though. I think Gavlar in a minute is going to be sick to death at the back of that Porsche. Just got confirmation there from the game saying that the pit window is now open, and already Peaceful and Lucas Roth are straight into the pits, as I believe that these two are carrying damage. Welshie is coming into the pits as well. It's also important to get it stopped here. Very fast pit entry. As PM Motorsport decides to carry on, what is Team Masoki going to do? He's coming straight into the pits. Emo Guy now into the final corner. Is he opting to go to the pits, or will he carry on through? He's going to get his pit stop done and out the way. So now it is Matimovic into Parabolica. We see that Gavlar is now ahead of Gary 131 going into Ascari. We just go on board of those two. And Gavlar gets the job done. Gary bouncing all over the curb. But Gavlar has now finally got himself ahead of Gary 131. But Gary's going to stick to the back of him and try and find a way through. Forsey carries on through. So does Matt. So Matt is now your net race leader. Gavlar defends the inside of Parabolica. And Gary loses a place. Gavlar finally working his way through. Are there any of these going to pit? It is Rabbit Joe who's going to dive into the pits. He's going to get it done and dusted, as has Monkey Boy and Disco. All these guys getting their pit stops done. John carries on, and Smoky Devil into Parabolica. He goes. First of the pit stops was Peaceful Explosion, who's on his way out. Lucas Roth was long gone. He's now back on track. Emo Guy was the first pit of the leaders, and he's now on his way back out on track. And once again, Emo Guy has managed to put himself in a lovely window where there's no traffic whatsoever. The only car he has to worry about is PN, and PN is even in the final corner yet. It's PM Motorsport. I think will probably peel into the pits. No, he's staying out a little bit longer. So, PM Motorsport, what can he do from this position? Can he start making a few paces up just by staying out longer? That's the question. The Gavlar-Gary fight is still going on right now. We've got Lucas Roth just behind them, a lap down at the minute. As all these guys start to work their way out of the pits. Monkey Boy towards the pit exit. Rabbit Joe working his way out. So what is this going to change of the order? Welshie going very wide in the background there. All over the gravel trap as Gary 131 through Ascari he goes. Will he opt to pit now? As he'll have to try and cover Rabbit Joe as Lucas Roth goes very wide in the background. as Forsey now opts to come and serve his pit stop. And I think so will Gavlar into the pits. He comes. Gary 131 will soldier on through. John also, what's he going to do? He's going to continue on himself. Smoky Devil comes into Parabolica. So after all the pit stops are done, Peaceful's lost out massively to Lucas Roth. Had he changed anything to his car? That's the question. Rabbit Joe's lost out quite a lot here to Monkey Boy. So Monkey Boy has extended his gap. Smokey is now into the pits. And when does Matt pit? He's currently going through Les Mode 2. Emo Guy currently down the start finish straight, so it's quite a long pit stop. Disco in the chat. I'm out. Game's bugged. One pit stop. Release me after 1 second. Can't be 2 stops for no reason. So Disco's game has crashed, and now he will not be able to finish this race, so that's a shame for him. Gavlar coming out of the pits. Forsey goes through into turn 1. Where's Smoky Devil? He's currently there. Monkey Boy is going into turn 1. Gavlar back on the power, so Gavlar's actually made a bit of time here to Monkey Boy. So Monkey Boy not the best out lap, and Gavlar seems to have a very, very good pit window. Matimovic now into the pits. Gary 131, when does he up to pit? They've still got 5 minutes left of this pit window. PM Motorsport into the pits. So it's Gary and John who are still out on track. We are halfway through this race. As Gary goes towards turn 1. He will carry on through, as will John. No, John's coming into the pits, so that is his pit stop done as well. PN returning back on track. He's had a good pit stop there. He will stay ahead of Welshie and Peaceful, so good stuff there for him. John comes to a stop. Where's Emo Guy? Emo Guy exiting Parabolica, and towards turn 1 he goes. And Matt still hasn't moved. Has Matt got a little bit of damage? There is the green. He is now allowed to go. So Gary 131 is now your net race leader. Sorry, current race leader. Your net race leader at the minute is Emo Guy. So we now just wait for Gary to come and serve his pit stop. And then the pit window will have been cleared by all the drivers. Matt has actually lost not that much time to Emo Guy. So at the minute, Emo Guy cruising out in front. And now John returns back on track. Forsey along going to the distance. Monkey Boy into turn 1. Gavlar is getting close as John will return back on track, and he will be in 8th place position. Still await for Gary 131, the only man to still pit. Goes into Parabolica. Will he come into the pits this lap? That is the question. Nope, he's going to risk it for one more lap. Gary 131 stays out. That's going to be a risk here because he could get a penalty for staying out too long, but that is the question. Gavlar still trying to stick onto the back of the Bentley of Monkey Boy. And at the minute, Monkey Boy is just doing enough to stay ahead of Gavlar. Gavlar's slowly been working his way up the field. I think when he gets to Forsey, he's going to struggle to get any further than that. As Forsey has got a comfortable gap of 10.7 seconds at the minute. Parabolica needs to go. Gary 131 still staying out for the minute. We'll check to see what his time will be as Lucas Roth is trying to work his way onto the back of Smoky Devil, who's going towards Ascari. Lucas Roth exiting Lesmo 2. So a lot of work to catch him. He's really got to hope. Oh, it's Keeks. I think there. Lucas Roth has a moment. The car's come to a stop. I think his wheel's probably playing up with him again. Tends to change all the screens and everything, and he loses visual. So Lucas Roth there, I think, had lost. Oh, Ascari131's made a mistake as well. He's gone through Ascari and he's on the gravel. And he's very slow coming back out on track. So Gary131, what has he done through there as he goes into Parabolica? And he'll have to pit now. 1 minute and 2 seconds left of the pit window. In he comes, and he looks like he's actually got damage to the front of that car, so he might have hit the barrier as well. So the question is, where is Monkey Boy and Gavlar? They are currently going through Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. Gary in the pits. So Gary might lose out to these two, but the question is, how close is he going to be to a Rabbit Joe, who's P7 at the minute? As Ray came in the chat saying, good evening all, shout out to Emo Guy. And it looks like Emo Guy is on a way to possibly get another win here. But if anything can still happen, we've still got 25 minutes left of this session. And at the minute, Emo Guy with a demanding lead, currently 17.5 ahead. As Monkey Boy runs right through Parabolica, that's going to allow Gavlar to have a look on the exit towards turn 1. There you go, as Gary is in the pits serving his pit stop, and he has lost out massively to Gavlar. Monkey Boy, they now head towards turn 1. He's also lost out to Rabbit Joe. Gavlar is going to send it into turn 1. He goes easy as that, and on his way he tries to hunt down Forzy. 9 seconds is the gap. Gary131 though, still in the pits. He's now on pit exit. He's not just lost out to Rabbit Joe, he's lost out to John as well. Oh, as Smoky Devil's had a big moment through the start-finish straight. Trying to get the car started, and he has done so. So back on track he goes. Smoky Devil having a big moment down the start-finish straight. I wonder how that happened. But Monkey Boy still not giving up this fight between Gavlar. He's still within a reach of him. So if Gavlar makes a mistake, he will be able to pounce on him. And while the cars are all strung out a little bit, I will remind you to just hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well, and hit the bell to be notified. If you like what you see here, then also have a look at our Discord and our Facebook page. As we'll be having many championships for multiple drivers to get themselves involved. We are looking to go on to the F1 2020 game. Now it's cross-platform. Possibly looking for PlayStation, Xbox and PC races on the F1 game. Make sure you have a look at our Facebook and Discord. Also, our new season will be beginning in the 28th and 29th of September. First round of the season at Oschersleben. And what a track we will start at, a track that everybody seems to hate, bar myself, one of my favourite circuits. But that's where the season will begin. Season 7, and arguably one of our best seasons that we are so looking forward to. So many champions on the track, so many race winners as well. It is going to be an exciting season, not just for the pros, but for Pro-Am as well. As well, she's back into the pits, possibly having damage. He's gone off track somewhere, as Monkey Boy now gets within 7/10 of Gavlar. So Gavlar not had the best run through the few corners. This has given Monkey Boy a sniff of an opportunity to get on to the back of him. But Monkey Boy now messing up the chicane. Just behind him is Rabbit Joe. Looking very comfortable behind him as Smoky Devil is into the pits. Guy currently having to negotiate a little bit of lap traffic. The lap traffic so far is going to be the way of Peaceful Explosion. lots of blue flags are being shown for Peaceful to move to one side and allow Emo Guy to go through. Emo Guy getting right onto the rear wing. As Monkey Boy's actually lost a lot of time here, 1.3 now behind Gavlar, so Gavlar has managed to try and extend that gap. So a lot of gaps here being made, a lot of drivers not quite close to one another. The only closest cars on track is currently Emo Guy trying to lap Peaceful Explosion. GT rules here, so they do not have to just jump straight out of the way. They can focus on staying on their line. As Peaceful's currently doing at the minute. Emo Guy currently at the minute not in a rush to get past him. Matt himself just minding his own business in P2, and he may have won the championship, but he may not win all the races here as ACC. It looks like it's going the way of Emo Guy. Matt having a little moment there actually. Car looked like it sounded like it wasn't too happy going through that corner. As Forsey has a moment there through the second chicane. Through at Lesmo 1 he goes. Rabbit Joe actually looks like he's just come out behind Smoky Devil, who's obviously had to pit with damage. So Smoky Devil will just be holding up Rabbit Joe ever so slightly here. And that's the least thing he wants to do, because right now Rabbit Joe could start to make a little bit more time, a little bit more progress onto Monkey Boy, because Monkey Boy just seems to be making a few mistakes towards the middle part of this race, as Smoky Devil does move to one side and allow, or attempts to allow his Porsche driver through. A little bit of miscommunication going on here, and Smoky Devil manages to stay in front of Rabbit Joe. Rabbit Joe bouncing over the curb there. Car did not like that one. Smoky Devil moves to one side, and through goes Rabbit Joe. Disco in the chat saying that he hates. Whoa, whoa! PM Motorsport going absolutely flying there, right to the sky as he bounces over the curbs. How he's managed to keep that on track, I do not know. He literally launched out right into the air. As we will do one more run through of this season, that we are heading towards season 7. Like I said, 28th and 29th of September. Round 1 is Oschersleben. Round 2 is Circuit of the Americas. Round 3 is Catalonia. And round 4 will be at Laguna Seca. Catalonia, a morning race. Laguna, an evening race. Dubai will be around 5. Round 6 will be at Watkins Glen. Round 7 will be Sikito. And round 8 will be down under in Australia in Bathurst. Round 9 is at Le Mans. Round 10 will be here in the UK for Silverstone. A night race for that one, followed by another night race here in the UK again for Brands Hatch. Round 11, and round 12, sorry, will be Daytona back in America, the home of Simplay Motorsport. Right now, Monkey Boy is starting to lose time on Gavlar. To go through Parabolica. And right now, Monkey Boy is just trying to find that few little seconds, few little tenths to try and catch onto the back of the Ferrari and put some pressure on him towards the end of this race. Only 17 minutes left of this ACC season. Looking towards the Project Cars Championship, not far away now. There's really no action going on track at the minute. John's got a little bit closer to Rabbit Joe. As I say, that Rabbit Joe bounces all over that curb and actually loses a lot of time. Smoky Devil's just cut the corner as well. And knocked one of the plastic boards off track as well. Surprised the staff here at Monza haven't moved all those polystyrene boards because they're all over the shot and it looks like an absolute mess. Emo Guy though has lost actually a little bit of time to Matt. Matt seems to have found a second, but obviously probably because Emo Guy had to clear all that back traffic. And now Emo Guy has got some clear air, so possibly able to extend his gap. He's just cleared Lucas Ross, so Matt will have to clear all that traffic himself. As Matt comes towards the start finish line. Rabbit Joe now is actually starting to come under pressure from John. John gets within 7/10. With only 16 minutes left to go. Peaceful Explosion actually has got himself ahead of PN Motorsport. So PN either had a moment or Peaceful's managed to put on a fantastic move and work his way up into the top 10. Go. The game manages to sort itself out and put himself in the right place as Matt is really being held up here by Peaceful. Peaceful moves to one side and Matt works his way through. Like I said, that's where Emo Guy had lost his time, possibly trying to clear the traffic, and this is where Matt's going to lose his time. As they now go towards the middle sector of the track. Forzie's had a great race so far, but he's lost loads of time. He's made a mistake somewhere, and that's allowed Gavlar and Monkey Boy to get within reach of the podium. Can Gavlar get himself on the podium? Will it be an all-winners podium with Emo Guy, Matt and Gavlar all on the podium? Or can Forzie just hang in there for another podium? He's done absolute wonders in the F2 Championship, took a win as well in F2. As Forzie now goes through Ascari chicane, he's lost quite a bit of time to Gavlar. Gavlar, even with a bad start to his race, is towards possibly a podium after a great recovery from himself. Monkey Boy's not too far off that either. So all still to play for, even with 14 minutes still left to go. It's Peter again, just managed to get onto the back of Peaceful. Peaceful really seems to be struggling towards the later part of this race. As John is still working his way onto the back of Rabbit Joe. Gavlar's had a great run through Parabolica. Forzie defends the inside. Gavlar to the outside. Forzie blocks him off. And I have to find a different way through. But Forzie has gone deep. He's messed up the chicane. And now Gavlar gets right on the back bumper. Doesn't quite get a good enough run to try and work his way through. So Gavlar now has to wait possibly for the second chicane. He'll want to get into the slipstream of Forzie. That's Gavlar looking all over the shot. He goes to the outside. Forzie defends the inside. Gavlar's going to be later on the brakes. Is he going to get the job done? Forzie shuts the door on him. And Gavlar will have to stay in P4. A little bit of lag there. But Forzie now still trying to hang on to this podium position. Gavlar trying to get a good run out of Lesmo 2. Towards Ascari they go. Forzie trying to do everything he possibly can to stay in this one. As they go through the chicane now, Monkey Boy's got right onto the back. He's actually made a mistake. He's bouncing onto the grass. Car really not enjoying that, so he'll have to recover and work his way back onto the back of Gavlar and Forzie. Forzie into Parabolica. They go another time. Will's getting, John's getting even closer to the back of Rabbit Joe. Rabbit Joe just needs to try and keep his head cool. He'll hang on to 6th place, but John's going to be running out of time. As we go back to the podium positions, Forsey under pressure for Gavlar. Gavlar's going to try around the outside. Forsey tries to squeeze him in turn 1. Forsey hangs on again in turn 2. As now Monkey Boy just gets a little bit closer. Monkey Boy looking for any opportunity to try and work his way past these two. At the minute, Forsey's just hanging in there. As you go into a chicane, it looked like they were just about to miss their braking, but not quite. They're managing to hang in there. This is all for a final podium position and one last chance to hit them on the podium. My guys still with a very, very comfortable lead of 13.2, well ahead of Matimovic. Forsey still got the immense pressure of the Ferrari and the Bentley of Monkey Boy. This is going to go right down to the wire as Forsey goes to the outside. Gavlar looks into Ascari but can't get the job done. Through Ascari they go. Monkey Boy looked like he had a great run through Ascari there. Now he's putting pressure on Gavlar. So can Gavlar hang in there? Gavlar looking to defend the inside of Parabolica. Goes to the inside now. Monkey Boy runs wide through Parabolica. The Bentley seems to struggle through there. But Forsey even slower than the two behind him. He's now going to become under immense pressure from both cars. As Gavlar right on the rear wing of Forsey here. This could end in tears as Gavlar goes to the outside. Forsey defends the inside. Monkey Boy looks to the outside. Forsey much later on the brakes, but he has to straight line it. Through the chicane they go. Forsey will have to give that place up to Gavlar, and he does so. Monkey Boy not quite close enough to really attack and get that position as well. Through into the second chicane to go. Monkey Boy looking to the outside. Forsey still defending as much as he possibly can, but Forsey runs a little bit wide there. Luckily not enough so that Monkey Boy can have a run. Meanwhile John again is a little bit closer to Rabbit Joe. I say that 1.4 now separating these two, so actually he's lost time. But we go back to this three-way fight. Forsey looking to try and get that position back, but I think Gavlar is extending that gap enough now. So I think Monkey Boy had a look into Ascari there, but unable to do anything about it. Right now, Gavlar has managed to get himself on the podium, and I believe, as the way it stands now, we'll be talking to the only three winners here at Simplay Motorsport. As we have got 8 minutes left to go. Towards turn 1 they go. John getting ever so closer to Rabbit Joe. Rabbit Joe going into turn 1 with John not too far behind him. Monkey Boy a little bit closer again to Forsey for that 4th place position, half a second off of Forsey. Gavlar definitely extended the gap, 2.1 now ahead of these two. 2 tenths separating 4th and 5th place position. Oh, Forsey hits the gravel and runs a little bit wide, losing a little bit of concentration and making that mistake, allowing Monkey Boy to have an opportunity, but Monkey Boy just wasn't there to capitalize. So you have to try and recover and get back onto terms of Forsey. Lucas Roth here, possibly gonna cause a little bit of an issue for Matt, as Matt actually was 12 seconds behind Imogai. He's now 10.3. Monkey Boy really losing time here now to Forzy. Forzy P4 and now a second ahead. Looks like all the positions are pretty much stale as Peaceful Explosion has done. He has left the session and we will not see Peaceful for the rest of the season now. So Imogai has even lost even more time. What is happening to Imogai? He's a little bit slow, possibly trying to clear Welshie, as Matt himself is trying to clear Lucas Roth. The last thing that Matt wants is Lucas Roth now goes wide and allows Matt through. Still got this fight between Forzy and Monkey Boy. Once again, John just hasn't been able to really push Rabbit Joe towards the end of this race. It's just managed to stay within a second. Rabbit, oh, Monkey Boy there, just getting on the gravel grass and nearly crashing into the back of Forzy. Forzy here defending for his life here. I've been hanging on to P3 for pretty much this whole race. And he does not want to give up fourth now. He's worked so hard for that fourth place, but Monkey Boy will obviously want fourth to gain him more points in the ACC Championship. I believe there is a slow car down the main straight. I think that's... I'm not sure who that is. That was Matt just clearing Welshie. That's Monkey Boy now 2 tenths on Forzy. As Forzy now tries to brake for Parabolica. Monkey Boy looking to go around the outside. And Monkey Boy with a great run out at Parabolica. Looking to go the outside of Forzy. And Forzy now looking to hold the inside as Monkey Boy now gets the job done, but Forzy brakes a lot later. And through holds Forzy. And Monkey Boy having to try and think of another plan to try and find a way back through the Porsche. Gavlar now really got a strong gap over Forzy and Monkey Boy. As Gavlar there just runs a little bit wide, taking a little bit of track limits. John has lost a lot of time to Rabbit Joe here, so he looks like he's going to have to settle for that 7th place position. But Imogai, what a racer this man's done. He's put it on pole position and has looked so strong here this evening. No one has really been able to challenge him. He's been into cruise mode and he is going to make it 3 wins here. 3 to Imogai, 2 to Matt and 1 to Gavlar. All your race winners will be on the podium and we will speak to them in the podium. As we are coming down to the end of this championship, 3 minutes left. Only 2 laps remaining for these guys as Imogai is going through sector 2 now, through Lesmo 1 into Lesmo 2 he goes in the Bentley. What is he going to return in next season? The rumours are he is going to go in the GTR. As Forzy and Monkey Boy head towards turn 1, these two are still going to battle it right till the end. And Monkey Boy is looking to try and get a good run out of the chicane. Forzy just still trying to do everything he possibly can to keep his concentration and stay ahead of Monkey Boy. Monkey Boy to the outside. He's going to be much later on the brakes. He's not going to make the corner though. They both go straight on. And Forzy losing out there. Is Monkey Boy going to get the position back? I believe he is. Yes, he does. And through go Forzy.
Leaders on final lap now.
As now Emo Guy starts his final lap here. This is the last lap for Emo Guy. And this ACC season will come to an end through turn 1. He will go. Matt starts his final lap here. We go back to Forzy and Monkey Boy as they're still going at it as they head into Ascari. Gavlar looking like he's got hold of P3. Monkey Boy still trying to do everything he possibly can just to get those final few points. Lucas Roth right now also just keeping himself ahead of PN. As I think there's a car that's stopped on track. That is Dean Wasaki. He's returned himself back to the pits. Possibly ran out of fuel. As they have to make sure they have the right amount of fuel. Gary 131, ever since he's been into the pits, he's just been in no man's land and is now looking to just bring the car home. Emo Guy's at a moment somewhere. There's now 4.5 seconds between him and Matt. So is Emo Guy having a nice, easy end to the race? He's actually made a mistake, Emo Guy. This is going to be interesting. So Matt is still not quite close enough. Has Emo Guy sustained damage? That's the question. Don't think he has, but something's happened because he did have 12 seconds over Matt. Does look like he's had a couple of marks on the front of that car, so he has hit something. And Matt's only now 3 seconds, but I think he has done enough. Gary 131 has to pit. Where is Geeks? He's not going to get ahead of him because Emo Guy and Matt are on their last lap. And through Parabolica he comes. Round 6, the final race of the season. It's going to be 3 from 6 here from Emo Guy. He wins here at Monza with the most race wins here at Simply Motorsport in ACC. So congratulations to him. Matt will come home in 2nd and Gavlar will finish home in 3rd place position. But Monkey Boy and Forzy are still going at it, and Monkey Boy has managed to get himself ahead of Forzy. So Forzy now dropping down the order into 5th place position. Rabbit Joe currently in 6th, and he looks like he's going to finish there. The Gavlar now into the Parabolica. He comes. It's going to be 3 winners here at Simple A, and all 3 winners are going to be on the podium here. Gavlar, the number 26 Ferrari, will come home in P3 position. A great recovery drive from him. Across the line he goes. As Monkey Boy will exit Parabolica now, and he will come into 4th place position with Forzy in 5th. Rabbit Joe in 6th. John will finish in 7th. Gary 131 will finish in 8th, and Smokey Devil in 11th. Those are your last finishers. Lucas Roth 9th. 10th is PM Motorsport. 12th is Welsh, and we'll just quickly get the top 3 in with us a minute. Apologies for the screen right now as we are getting the top 3 in the chat. As we should have an invitation for the top 3, and as you can see there, Emo Guy and Matt, both the Bentley drivers, roaring around together. And what a season these two had. Matt was the champion, but most race wins going the way of Emo Guy. It's been Bentley domination here at Simplay Motorsport. And look at these two just finishing off the season in style with both of the Bentleys running next to one another. Gavlar also the other man to get a win this season. All your race winners on the top step of the season here. All 3 on the podium. As we do have Matt and Emo Guy with us, I have invited Gavlar, just waiting to see if he would join the party, but we will start with Matt. Matt, not the night you probably would have wanted. Emo Guy off into the distance as soon as the race got going. It looks like you had him for the first lap, gave him a good go, but didn't see much of him after that since.
I just made too many mistakes on the opening lap. My mistake. Yeah, well, my bad. I just kept making little mistakes. Just felt like I was pushing the car too hard in the first lap with an hour's race, which, you know, is always a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah.
But no, good end to the season. We ended it, Lois finished in second place, so I can't be too disappointed with that.
Well, it was a duel between yourself and Emo Guy, both battling out for most wins this season, and a fitting way to finish the season with all three winners on the podium. But obviously, we'll have a break from ACC. Focus is now on Project Cars 2, but obviously we will return to ACC. Would you stay with the Bentley, and can you try and retain the title?
Yeah, I think we'd look to stay at the Bentley. Obviously, I think we've discussed in the admins, that we're going to try and make maybe a few tweaks to the ACC for next season, in terms of maybe pairing up a front runner with a back end runner and make teams of it to sort of just do something a little different. Obviously, run some other tracks maybe for the next time round, which would be nice. The Bentley we'd have to see, but I'd possibly stay with it because I like the car. I think it's a fantastic car. I suppose depends on the tracks, because so I'm informed that on the international tracks, the international pack DLC, the Honda's meant to be quite good, and we all know that we're a bit partial to a Honda. So yeah, what a season it's been. Thanks to all the guys who's participated. Thanks to yourself, Dan, for commentating it and bringing this to us. And yeah, hopefully Emo Guy's there for the full time next time, and can give me a fight. Gavlar as well. Look, he could be a real force to be reckoned with by the time we do ACC again. Forzy, Monkey Boy, Rabbit Joe, if Gary's there for the full season, what could Gary do? It's going to be interesting for sure, and yeah.
And a quick word on the new season. Still undecided on car at the minute, still testing cars out at the minute from what I've heard, but nonetheless, are you excited for season 7?
Looking forward to it, and if we're going in what I think we're going in, then it's going to be a good season, and it's going to be an interesting, fascinating one. Hopefully be able to take the fight, because the BMW that was meant to be in, we just can't seem to get it to work, but we've got till Sunday to confirm, so we'll see what happens there. Also, just want to mention a massive shout out to the Simplay Racing boys of Mike, Monkey Boy, Rabbit Joe and Keegs in this one. They've had an up and down season, but hopefully next time will come out better. And for me, Emplov, Remo Guy and Joe on Saturday, I'll post a link in the Discord and on the Simplay Facebook group and the Twitter and stuff. Make sure you come and join the action live. It's not going to be our POVs, but it will be streamed by the channel that we're racing on, 8 Hours of Indianapolis Road Course. So make sure you come and give us your support in there.
Nicely said, Nat, and congratulations on the championship.
Cheers,
as well. As we now move on to your third place man, Gavlar, the only other person to get a race win this season, and that was a recovery drive from yourself. Looked like you got caught up in all sorts of chaos in lap 1, but nonetheless, to come back to P3, you've got to be happy with that drive.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I had absolutely no confidence in the car during practice or qualifying, but yeah, just suddenly found my groove, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. I have to say, respect to all the drivers that I was in battles with. The real clean racing there, and that was excellent. I have to admit, I was up there with actually my win, if I'm honest. Just been able to work my way back up the grid. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. Congratulations to Matt on the championship, and obviously well done Emo Guy for the win. It looked like it was a pretty comfortable race until the last few laps, I think.
But other than that, mate, you've had a great season. You've had a good fun here at Simplay. I think you finished third in the championship. But yeah, it was a great race to watch. I think probably out of most of that race, we had more airtime on you than any other car, because you were just dicing your way through the pack, and it was absolutely brilliant to watch. Obviously, if we run ACC again, would you return again in the Ferrari and give it another shot, possibly try and stop Matt from winning the title and stopping Emo Guy winning so many races?
Oh, definitely be back. Whether it's the Ferrari, I don't know. It's a love-hate relationship with the Ferrari. It's when you get the setup right, it's excellent. But I think more often than not, I'm slightly off with the setup. So I may try something else. May try a different car. I'll keep that cards close to my chest on that one until the season starts again.
Well, nonetheless, mate, congratulations on an awesome season. Also, congratulations on your win all the way back at Barcelona, and we look forward to seeing you back on the grid here at Simplay Motorsport.
Yeah, thanks again, guys, and thanks again to everybody at Simplay. As I say, great place to be a part of, great league to be a part of. So, yeah, congrats everybody, great season.
Well, we now move on to your race winner, Emo Guy. Congratulations on the win, mate. 3 wins here at Simplay Motorsport most this season, and you've got to be happy with that one. A relatively easy win, but to be fair, what happened that last lap? Because you lost a lot of time.
I'm just having my change POV button on the little kind of twisty knob on my wheel. Went to twist that, not realising that brings up the share menu. I was going through, just going after the first chicane, and it popped up, and I was like, oh crap, take it off. And then as soon as I came back, the steering pinged off and put me on a wall.
Well, nonetheless, mate, a great win for yourself under the belt. Very comfortable throughout the race. Barely saw any mistakes until the end. But obviously a return to next season, and I've now figured out what car you will be running. And if I'm correct,
as it's not confirmed, I'm in talks with two Japanese manufacturers.
Oh! Most likely will be the Nissan, but obviously you'll return back to possibly try and go for the title and stop Matt from winning it next season.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's never always a guarantee, but I've pushed Matt this entire season. I've been on my toes the entire season, and it's just I've been loving every second of it. That's the closest battle I've ever had on ACC in terms of a championship. So yeah, I'm definitely going to aim for next season and try and take the fight to him.
Well, when that season's come, I'm going to be spamming you so many messages so you do not miss a single race. But nonetheless, mate, congratulations on the most wins, and been an epic season with you once again.
Yeah, and you too.
As that is it for ACC. Matt is still the champion here. I don't know if Matt, if you've done the tables, if you want to quickly run through.
Tables are up to date. Matt Timovic wins the championship, 130 points, 24 ahead of Emo Guy, with Gavlar just beating Forzi by 2 points there at the end to third place. Monkey Boy finishes in fifth on 56, with Rabbit Joe pipping Peaceful Explosion by 4 points at the end. Big Boy Brazier down in 8th, Disco down in 9th, with John Smokey tied for P10. Fury in 12th place on 28 points. Gary just a point behind him. PN on 26 points. Sooty Apex tied on 17 with Lucas Roth. Woshi on 16, Dean on 12, Argent on 3, and that Buzzy Boy on 1.
Well, that is it here at Simpo Motorsport for the ACC. Matimovic wins another title. Make sure all the drivers who are listening right now to get your cars and teams and driver lineup confirmed before Sunday, as we will be heading to the 28th and 29th of September for the first round of the Project Cars GT3 Championship. Once again, Pro-Am and Pro return, and what a season it's going to be. We have returning champions in the Pro of myself and Big Boy Brazier. We have new drivers of Richie joining the grid. We also have Overtaker returning. We have Gary 131, the two-time champ. And can Matt retain his title? Can he defend it with such a hard lineup? Also, Pro-Am is going to be interesting, with Kieran Arjip dropping back down into Pro-Am with KLF 900 as well, and with Lucas Roth in there, with Rabbit Joe returning also. It's going to be an exciting season. Make sure you tune in. Myself and Matt will bring you the action on the Wednesday night, and KLF 900, Kelly Davis and Clive Smithy will be in your commentary box on the Thursday night. Believing so. Yeah. In the Thursday sessions as well. Make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be an epic season. But for myself and all the guys here at ACC, it's good night.
And we're out.
Sweet. Right, I've got to go, boys. I need a piss.